everybody and welcome to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at some footage that I filmed last year at the London Motor and Tech Show. So the story behind this is that I won the tickets through a competition that MG was holding, and within a few days I actually had to organise quite an expensive train journey to get down to London, try and find someone to come with me, which didn't happen because it was so short notice. And yeah, so what you're going to see is what I meant to make a year ago, if what I've got left. So yeah, so where we're going to start off is probably me at the train station at 5 in the morning. So here we go, back to me from last year. Right, so it's now about 5:45 in the morning. Sorry, not 4:45, about 10 to 5. And I've got to Hull, I'm the only person here. So it's a case of I've got to wait about 3/4 of an hour, and eventually I should be getting on that train there, at least I hope so. And we'll go to Doncaster and change over there and then get on the train to King's Cross. Going to use voiceover for this part, just mainly because I hadn't got used to the microphone, and as you can probably see, it was packed. This is actually quite early on in the day and it got much fuller than this, but you can barely hear my voice on the videos. Anyway, back to the film. So what's happened is, at this point, if I remember rightly, I was here for about 2 hours beforehand. I got there really early because of my train journey, and I was there very early on in the queue, and I got straight through the door. And obviously, me being me, the first stand I had to go to was MG. So I'd been there, and their launch vehicle for 2019 was the MG ZS EV. So the ZS had been out since 2017, which has been a fairly popular, compact SUV. And they've released the EV version, which I think has become what car's third most highly rated EV in the country. There wasn't much difference between it and the standard ZS, except those fancy wheels that you can just see now, and a couple of other bits really. There was a rotary knob on the dashboard, I'll just pop a picture of that in now, and the grille popped up obviously like most electric cars. So we're just going to see something here now. This is rum and red wine, if I remember right, the paint code on it. For some odd reason I've walked away, but here's another picture of it if I can find it. If not, then there isn't one. And they were, if I remember rightly, electric Jags. They actually had converted classic Jags into electric, and I think they'd done some of the interior as well. And they were gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful cars. Yeah, really nice. I think we're just taking a wander through now, just sort of around the centre stand. I was really bewildered. You've got to remember that as well, this is the first ever time that I've actually tried to film anything, so I just was really winging it, so hence why this video hasn't been made before. Yeah. So, having a listen, I think we're just going through now into the Hall 2. So here, up to the right hand side was a load of American movie cars, and I think there was big trucks and everything. There was also the guys from Drive in here. I never actually got to meet up with them. I think it was Jim, who I think has now actually left Drive, and Patricia Pedrosa were there. And I stood in line for about 2 hours, never got any really close, meant to meet up and say hello, but I could never get in, so I just kind of gave up. So sorry Patricia and everybody else for not saying hi. But this was essentially the trade area, that's about it really. And as you've probably just heard, I've just said this is Mike Brewer, so I'm just going to shut up in a minute, because I don't know whether it was Mike Brewer or not, but they did have a classic Jag going around, you could just see that there, and a couple of other cars including a Mustang, and I'll shut up and you'll see what happens. Okay, just coming back into hole 1 now, and I was just starting to wrap things up now. I'd gotten quite tired of everything, and I'd been up since 4 in the morning. It's about 2 to 3 in the afternoon, so I thought I'd come and visit the final bit that I hadn't seen, which was the electric cars. Now, I'm not a massive fan of electric vehicles. I understand that Tesla's obviously making massive headway into the industry right now, and, you know, other things. I know it's going to be a massive part of our future. But yeah, it's just not an interest of mine really at the moment. But hey ho, you know, it was reflected with the show's change to London and Motor and Tech Show instead of just London Motor Show. So, you know, I should have taken a look, which I did. So yeah, I think right now we're just looking at a Nissan Leaf, obviously, and this one I think had gone all the way across Africa, if I remember rightly. I'll try and put a screenshot or an image of a bit more about it above, but that was the most interesting electric car there, if I remember rightly. It was one that stuck out in my head anyway, and yeah, it was quite interesting. It had a lot of battery charges and whatnot, but it survived it. And it just shows you how well Nissans are built, and more importantly, how well electric car technology's come along. So much in the past 10-15 years. You know, it's funny to think that 15 years ago the main electric car that we had was a G-Whiz, really, or the Tesla sports car that they had, the Tesla Roadster. So yeah, I'm just kind of having a look around here. There's a Hyundai Kona, which isn't very exciting, a Nissan Zoe, I think that is. Not a Nissan Zoe, a Renault Zoe. And I'm just kind of looking at bewilderment at a Hyundai Kona, because I hadn't a clue at this point what one was, and I still don't really, because, well, to be quite frank, I don't like that many modern cars. I know I haven't really featured many classics yet on my channel, but it's not really a forte of mine, is modern cars. I don't really like them. As soon as I get rid of my MG3, I know I'm going to go back to an older one, I think, but, you know, they have to be made. So I think at this point I was really just getting tired. I was ready to go home. I'd had enough of trying to film with people who were talking way over everything. So yeah, this was something that did stick out though. It was awful, really awful. I hope you can see it, but it's a gold Smart 4.2. And I mentioned something in this clip that you probably can't hear right now, saying about how it'd be great for a charity rally, which would be interesting, but oh Jesus, why would you gold wrap a Smart? More importantly, why would you gold wrap a Bentley behind it? I think that's a Bentley. But yeah, not nice at all. So yeah, overall I had a really good time at the show. Yeah, I was just shattered by the end of it. I think next time I go I'll definitely be getting up a bit later, obviously, and just, you know, heading through and taking it in my own time. I think I'd kind of focused a lot on trying to get filming done, and I'd just not planned it right. But it was a good day, and you know, at the end of the day all it really cost me was a train ticket and the day's parking at the train station. So I think what we'll do now, this clip's coming up to an end, so I will switch back to my normal camera and I'll have a talk about some of the cars that I really enjoyed throughout the day, and I'll show you some more pictures. So just a quick follow-up from those videos then. I had a really enjoyable time. It was quite short, actually. The event itself wasn't as big as I expected it, which isn't bad, it was just a bit shorter. Hence why, you know, obviously I expected it to be bigger. I went much earlier in the morning, so I should have gone a bit later to save myself the sleep deprivation, but it wasn't so bad. So yeah, I've just got a couple of things to show you here. I did get a couple of freebies at the event, some of which have long gone because it's freebies, you know what the sort of events are like. I have got here one of the sort of goodie bags that MG gave out, which came with a blue MG cap, which I think was to coincide with the event itself for the MG ZS EV. I've also here got some postcards of the MG3, the MG E-Motion and the MG ZS EV. I don't know whether you can see them or not. Nothing exciting, they're just postcards. And I got a blue MG keyring, which I don't think has been released, along with the cap. Neither of them have been released, I don't think. Correct me if I'm wrong. And just some pens, which, well, you know what pens are like. So yeah, favourite cars. I think out of everything, the cars that stick out in my mind would have been the ruby and rum red Jaguar. That car was absolutely stunning. The paintwork was fantastic, and it was electric, which will eventually be, I do really think, the future of classic cars. It's got to be at some point, because at some point they're going to stop making petrol and diesel. So it will have to be the way at some point. I don't think it's there yet, but I think it will somehow get there. Other cars, I really like the Suzuki Jimny. I think it had just been recently launched the year before, but obviously in that sort of love it or hate it pea green that they had it out in. But it was quite a nice car. I really liked the simplicity of how it all worked and the dashboard and all that sort of stuff. The electric cars wasn't really a big fan of. I liked the BMW i3 and the Nissan Leaf. It was a Nissan Leaf. I tell you what I did get to see. Many of you will have probably seen the Grand Tour and seen the episode where Jeremy tows a ship with a Citroen Cactus. That exact Citroen Cactus was there, and you could sit in it. So I have sat in a car that Jeremy Clarkson has sat in, which was quite a nice thought. Don't know why, but it was. Especially that Citroen Cactus, because it was quite a feat of seeing it took a ship. Other things that were there, I'm sort of met Mike Brewer from Wheeler Dealers. I had a quick joke with him when he was setting up for a talk on car prices, and yeah, that was, you know, quickly met Mike Brewer. Wasn't really that overwhelming, to be honest. It was just another guy who really is into his cars. I also, from a distance, saw Tiff Needell get crowded by people wanting pictures of him, and I felt very sorry for him, so I left him alone. Other things that I can think of. You saw some of the indoor sort of motor activities that they did. They did a lot of stunts. They had, I think it was Paul Swift there. They also had some classic cars there. They had I really liked a Hillman Imp van that had been, it was a sleeper if I remember right, that had all the engine taken out and replaced with something else. Same with a VW Golf that they also had. And then the other things that I really liked was obviously the MG ZS EV, because that's a massive step for MG. Recently seeing them release an electric car, and it's really helped them. It's become the third, I am pretty sure it was the third biggest selling EV in the UK at the moment. I might be wrong, it might be more, it might be less. So yeah, other than that, I just really enjoyed my day. There isn't much I can remember of it because it was a year ago, but it was just an enjoyable morning, afternoon, and then afterwards I went and hung around King's Cross, went and saw a couple of sites, sort of, and then just got the train home. But for the fact that I won tickets over a competition, got the train 2 days later, and you know, it wasn't that bad. So yeah, that's about it on my report video on the 2019 London Tech and Motor Show. If you'd like to see more videos like this and others, then please subscribe, maybe give this video a like, definitely comment, let me know what your favourite car that you saw from this video, or even if you went to the Motor Show itself, let me know what you thought your favourite vehicle that you saw at the show. Other than that, it's bye from me, and I'll see you in the next video.